Hello, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm just another regular down at Jack Dracula's tattoo parlor, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week of Bloodhaus, Josh.
Huzzah, here we are.
Here we are indeed.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a million years, but I guess it's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a long week, but yeah, it feels like we've been trying to get more recording time in, and life seems to keep finding a way to get in between us. But
yeah. Have you seen anything cool lately?
I've seen so many cool things lately. Oh my god, I feel like LA is buzzing and alive with rep screenings and with restorations right now. It's super awesome. So I just went to same day, different theaters, so it inadvertently became a double feature, but two new restorations that are playing theatrically right now. Both were the LA and West Coast premieres of these. One is currently playing in New York. I don't know if the other one is there yet. The first one I went to go see was at the Egyptian Theater, and it was the new Janus Films restoration of Luis Bunuel's Elle, his Mexican film from 1953.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Bunuel, who listeners would know from like his 60s and 70s French films like Belle de Jour and Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, or from his like surrealist short films like Un Chien Andalou or L'Âge d'Or that he co-directed with Salvador Dali. But a lot of people don't have access to his Mexican films. He fled Spain during the Spanish Revolution, and moved to America, couldn't get work, long story, and then ended up living in Mexico for years and years, and made a ton of incredible films in Mexico, like Los Olvidados. He did a Spanish language adaptation of Wuthering Heights, which only adapts the back half of the novel.
I've heard that's really good.
Which is amazing. And a bunch of incredible movies. Exterminating Angel is the only like really available one of those. But Janus has restored Elle in partnership with Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project. And I've only ever seen this on like VHS bootlegs for years. So finally seeing it like clean and pristine and restored was amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much. Bunuel's not known as being like an incredibly like visual stylist. He's more like thematic and tonally surrealist, but there's a lot of incredibly important production design and mise en scène in this movie that has never been able to be appreciated before now. And it was shot by Mexico's most famous cinematographer, Gabriel Figueroa, who also shot a bunch of films for John Huston, in films here in America, and like most contemporary cinematographers list him as one of the most talented and adept, and that like you can tell his images immediately. It's an incredible movie. Alfred Hitchcock cited it in the late 50s as being a direct influence on Vertigo. It's about a rich, wealthy man who becomes sexually obsessed with a woman he meets in church when he sees her feet during a like washing the feet ceremony.
It almost sounds like a John Waters movie so far.
He finds out that this woman is currently engaged to marry his current business partner, and so he seduces her away from him. And then it cuts to like years later, and she's on the street and like frantic, and then runs into her former fiance. It tells him what's happened in the intervening years, and then it becomes her narrative. And it becomes this like absolutely gonzo gaslight narrative. It's batshit, and the like combination of like Hollywood melodrama with a surrealist interpretation of sexual violence and obsession, and a really strong criticism of the Catholic Church and of capitalist male behavior is really strong and really loud and really fun. It feels like Bunuel doing film noir.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
really exciting and it's really, really, really fun. And it's a movie that's just been lost for years and years and years and years. And Bunuel is a director that I feel like kind of had his flowers in the 90s a little bit when some of his like 70s and 60s movies were restored and brought back out. And then has kind of not really stayed in the consciousness of a lot of like younger cinephiles, despite the fact that like filmmakers like Yorgos Lanthimos and Guillermo del Toro are
Yeah.
citing him constantly. John Waters is a huge fan. So it's really exciting that this is back out and available. And there was only one screening in LA. It was like at 1:00 at the Egyptian. So I'm glad I was able to catch it. But it's been running all week at Film Forum in New York City. So hopefully it gets a longer run here in LA. Hopefully it gets to play in like Chicago and Seattle and like Nashville and stuff like that soon. It's really, really incredible. I'm really happy to have
What's the title?
The title is L.
L.
E-L.
Okay. Yes, right.
In America in the 50s, it was retitled This Strange Passion.
Oh, God.
Which is so goddamn generic. But speaking of passion, the other movie that has recently been restored, and thank God, because it's only been able to be seen in horrible looking bootlegs for years, I got to go see at the Hammer Museum in the Billy Wilder Theater, because it was recently restored by the UCLA Film Television Archive, and that is the surrealist gay classic Pink Narcissus.
Ooh, how cool. I would love to see that on the big screen.
It was incredible. For listeners that don't know, Pink Narcissus is one of the most visually stunning movies ever made. It was directed by James Bidgood, a really famous photographer. He shot it entirely in his New York apartment over the course of 7 years on a mix of 8 and 16 millimeter. And he literally built like urinals and men's bathrooms in his bedroom and like had like motorcycle stunts in his apartment. And
it's such a cool movie.
It is like almost dialogue free. It is absolutely insane. It's like very much owes a lot of its influence to like Jean Cocteau and stuff like that. But then people like Pierre Gilles and Rainer Werner Fassbinder and Charlie XCX are like all massive fans of it and have all like cited it and referenced it and knocked it off. And I mean, Pierre Gilles have like fully admitted that almost their entire visual language and look is based on this movie and James's work.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely amazing to see it restored, because it's like one of the most visually dense movies ever made, but it was made on like really rough film stock for no money, and then on top of that kind of disappeared for years, so it was really hard to find copies. And it was restored by the man that has kind of been the executor of James Bidgood's estate for the past 20 years, up until James Bidgood's death a couple years ago. And he found some original elements and he was able to get them restored. And the final restoration that Strand put together looks fucking amazing. There's so many things in this movie that I've never seen before that I did not know were there. There's like stop motion and puppet creatures in this movie that I did not know were in this movie. I've seen this movie a bunch of times, Josh.
Yeah.
And they were also in conjunction with this new restoration coming out. The man who spearheaded the restoration has also put out an art book, a really lovely, thick, dense art book of all of James' photos. A lot of them were taken on the set of Pink Narcissus, and they had a handful of advance copies for sale at the screening, and so I got one for the fitting price of $69. But they're going to be on sale, I think, at the end of March, beginning of April. They'll be on sale wide, and I think they said that Larry Edmonds in Hollywood is going to have some advance copies. So if you're really
I go there
starving for
pretty
some,
regularly.
you should head over there. I love Larry Edmonds.
I bet I'll be able to walk to the Academy Museum and get one pretty
I'm
soon.
sure they'll be there as well. Yeah.
That's so cool. I really want that photo book. I've been collecting a lot of photo books lately. I have spent the week with not my real friend, my like fantasy friend, Kayla Janice, because so the second folk horror box set is out now, which I haven't gotten, but I do have the first one, and I rewatched a movie that I know we talked about on an early episode, but it bears repeating because that was 2 years ago. I rewatched with my film club Alison's Birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so fun if you haven't seen it. It's an Australian movie from like 1980, 1981. And imagine like Rosemary's Baby or The Wicker Man, but through the lens of like a teeny bopper movie. It's basically like a teenage folk horror movie, all centered around a girl's 19th birthday. And the aesthetic is so good. The ending is so bleak. It's got that perfect, like we both have talked about how much we love movies that are made in like 1980, 1981, because they have the best of the 80s and the 70s, and they have like a very specific aesthetic all of their own. So it's one of those. It's just so good. It has such a good aesthetic. But the other one that I watched that's very fitting for today's movie, and in fact, I did a double feature because after I watched today's movie, I was still hungry. So I was like, I know what I'll watch. So I went to Kayla Janice's House of Psychotic Women box set, which also has a part 2 box set, either out or coming soon, which I don't have yet. And I finally watched the Elizabeth Taylor banger Identikit.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it so much. If you haven't seen it, listener, this is, I think, widely considered Elizabeth Taylor's worst movie, which is insane. In a world where Cleopatra exists.
I was literally about to mention Cleopatra. Yeah, well,
a movie I actually really like. I like Cleopatra. It's very beautiful, and it is, it is what it is.
I just haven't had the 4 hours to spare to watch it, but I have seen Boom, and that's probably her worst film.
So this is late career Elizabeth Taylor, which I love, 70s Elizabeth Taylor. And she plays a rich woman who is all pilled out or something, who's just like wandering around airports and cities while, we travel in and out of time around some investigators that are hunting her for some reason. And she seems to be in the tabloids. People recognize her places that she go. Maybe she killed somebody. We don't quite ever understand what's happening, but it's basically just Elizabeth Taylor shopping in airports for 2 hours, and I love it.
I was about to ask, how much does this just feel like a documentary?
It's literally just her being insane in high-end luxury retail spots in like Rome and in airports. And if I just had to watch Elizabeth Taylor do international travel for 2 hours and shop, I'd be happy to do that. This could have had no plot whatsoever. It could have just been like New Order music and her walking around airports, and I would love it so much just for that. It kind of reminded me, do you remember how beautiful the opening of Jackie Brown is when she's just in profile wandering through the airport? It's like that as a movie. I love it. Love it.
You should pitch a remake of it with Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh my god, that's such a good idea.
I feel like if anyone could nail that.
That's an insanely good. And tell Jennifer Coolidge, I'm going to tell her that it's an art movie, which it is.
Yeah.
I'll make her watch Personal Shopper, and I'll say like, this is the kind of tone we're going for. We'll improv the whole thing. We're just going to send you to Comme des Garçons in New York, and we're going to send you to Prada. Like just follow you around with a camera. I bet that movie would be gold.
That would be gold. Everyone would watch it. It would immediately
shot on 35 millimeter, of course.
A24 would release it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
like. Josh, I think we've stumbled upon a gold mine.
But then there does have to be like a murderer after her with like, you just see their black leather gloves for most of the movie.
But it turns out that she's the murderer. And
She's the murderer.
The person with the black leather gloves that's following her is a cop. That's like,
oh yeah.
But she's so hot, the cop would rather fuck her than arrest her. None of this happens until the final 20 minutes.
Oh my God, Drew, we just sold a movie to Neon, I think. Movie, where are you? Give us $1 million.
Okay, but also this could be made.
It's such a good idea. It really is.
Genuinely.
I wonder. Yeah.
Maybe we should
Parker
cut this out.
Posey
so
would
people
also
don't
be
steal
pretty
this.
good.
Parker
Posey
would
be good.
I just feel like Jennifer Coolidge is just closer to the Elizabeth Taylor milieu, but it could be any actress of that ilk.
Have you seen Parker Posey in White Lotus this season?
I have been watching the new season of White Lotus, yes.
She's pretty great. She's getting there.
I haven't. Booties. Yeah, exactly.
By the way, anyone who says that her accent is not accurate
has never been
White
to
Lotus
fucking North Carolina
is not a Southerner. Like, that is exactly how rich women in Chapel Hill sound.
Yeah.
It's like, and they also, like, the reason it's funny that her husband's accent is not as thick, because I feel like rich Southern women turn their accent up on purpose because
and the men try to erase it because they're trying to be like indifferent businessman. Yeah, they've got to be able to go to New York and not be seen as a rube.
And then the most accurate thing of all is that the kids have no accent, just naturally. Yeah. And that's like really what is happening in the world. It's so funny. They really nailed it.
Oh my God. I love Parker Posey. Thank God your father's a good man.
You want to move to Taiwan? We were screaming at that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have a good
Speaking of psychotic women.
Yes.
There we go. Great female
dipping our toes into the House of Psychotic Women once again, once and forever. We are covering a movie that I love. It's from 1976, directed by Matt Cimber. It is The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Turn on your television set. Find out what's happening in the real world.
See it in black and white. God made all of us perfect.
How close do you want to be to the woman in your life?
Well, we don't know if it's true or not unless it's on television. Why was Grandpa lost at sea? I don't know. Because he was perfect. Too good to live on land.
She's a witch come out of the sea.
She's not a witch. She's beautiful.
Now, I saw this maybe like 2018. I saw it on a date, and I think it was at either the Egyptian or the New Beverly. It was in the afternoon.
It was at the Egyptian, because I remember around that time going to the Egyptian, and they were advertising that they were going to be showing a lot of Matt Cimber's movies.
That sounds right.
Because they were doing
in my memory,
a thing with Glow.
Yeah, that's right. So I saw it there. It was my first run-in with Vinegar Syndrome, not the boutique DVD house, but the actual Syndrome, because they showed it on 35 millimeter print, and it was so deteriorated that it was like watching it through a layer of Pepto-Bismol. It was just like so bright
all pink
that you could barely see the movie, and that was that was the first time I was like, I love the idea of showing things on 35 millimeter, but like maybe sometimes we could watch the digital version if we can see the movie. You know what I mean? I was sort of like, when is it not cool to watch the 35 millimeter print anymore? But the coolness of the movie still came through. And so I was really excited to rewatch it for the podcast and see like a clear restored version. Because
God bless
really
Arrow
like
Video for taking the time to restore this.
Yeah, because I really like this movie, and I like it even more now that I've seen a clear version of it. This is your first time watching the movie, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a movie that I had kind of just vaguely heard of because its original poster is batshit insane.
Incredible. Does not speak to this movie whatsoever, but is
not
pretty
even
great.
a little bit. The poster really feels like someone just saw the title for the movie and had been looking at some Jean Roland posters and was like, whatever.
I'm looking at it now. Do you know what I would think if I saw this poster and didn't know about the movie? I would think that this was a sword and sandal movie. I would think that this is like an R-rated kind of Conan the Barbarian sort of movie.
Well, Matt Cimber then directed in 1980s R-rated female-led Conan the Barbarian knockoff movie called Hundra.
Yeah.
So
I love this poster. It is giving like D&D first edition, though. A little
very
bit.
much so. Again,
it is giving the side of someone's van in 1979.
If I could get this airbrushed on a van, I fucking would. I'm telling you this right now.
It'd make a great tattoo as well.
For listeners that are, this is an audio-based medium that can't be fucked to go Google something. It's an illustrated poster of a woman standing on some rocks in the middle of the ocean with a torrential sea and a cloudy sky, like a angry cloudy sky behind her. And she is wearing a torn up purple veil. She's essentially nude under it. Black and white streaked, like Bride of Frankenstein hair flowing behind her in the wind as she holds up a bloody scythe with one hand, and with a snake coming up around it, and the other hand holding a decapitated man's head, sort of recreating the pose of the Statue of Liberty. And the entire thing is rendered in like blues and greens and yellows, and it has this really like evocative layout of a copy line that says, "Molly really knows how to cut men down to size."
I love that tagline. It's very Faster Pussycat, kill, kill.
Yeah. It's very exploitation. It's absolutely amazing. And so the movie's nothing like this.
Nothing like that at all.
Thematically, possibly. But I had like seen that, floating around online, and I was like, whatever that movie is sounds fun. And then I think when I was in college, Vinegar Syndrome, Era Video restored it as a part of their American Horror Project, where they were restoring kind of regional horror films in partnership with the film historian Stephen Thrower, formerly of the band Coil, from like different parts of the USA. And like, if folk horror and psychotic women horror is like very much part of your thing, Josh, one of the other things is 60s, 70s regional horror filmmaking, because Messiah of Evil falls into that, and
Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Alice, Sweet Alice.
There's so many. A Carnival of Souls technically falls into that camp as well. When Arrow released this, they released it alongside a movie called The Premonition and another movie called Malatesta's Carnival of Blood. Which are also pretty well received. And I at the time I remember being like, I don't need to buy that box set, but if I need to watch any of them, it's this one. And then I went to the Egyptian in that 2018-2017 period when they were gearing up for a bunch of Matt Seimer things. I think I was at a Mario Bava screening, and they played trailers for The Witch Who Came from the Sea and like The Candy Tangerine Man and some of his other movies. And I was like, that looks nothing like I thought it was ever going to look.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so it's been on my list, and especially since we started the podcast, been on my list for a long time. So I was very pleased to finally cross it off and finally watch it this week.
Yeah. It is nothing like the poster whatsoever. It is a classic 70s slow burn with psychotic flute music and gauzy cinematography. And actually, speaking of cinematography, Dean Kundi was associate photographer on this film. Legendary Dean Kundi. Who
shot literally The Thing, Halloween, Back to the Future, Death Becomes Her, Big Trouble in Little China.
Incredible, legendary.
Basically, every iconic John Carpenter movie was shot by him, but then also the remake of The Parent Trap and The Holiday.
Yeah. Listen, we all got to work. This was a video nasty, which I find really surprising in a way. It's not a very gory, schlocky movie, which they tended to be, at least in my mind. This is artier than most of them, I would say. But basically, this movie is about a woman named Molly, played by, what's her name? Millie Perkins?
Millie Perkins.
Wonderful
Anne Frank
actor.
herself.
Yeah.
Millie Perkins.
So Millie Perkins plays Molly, who's an alcoholic woman who lives in Venice Beach, Los Angeles. She's obsessed with television and she idolizes her dead father. And she's kind of invented this mythology of him where he's a sea captain lost at sea. And she relays these stories to her two beloved nephews, who are insanely named Tad and Tripoli. Tad and Tripoli's mother is Molly's sister, and she is much more down to earth. She keeps reminding Molly, actually, Dad was a terrible alcoholic and a bum, basically. So it seems like Molly's making all this stuff up, and we get little glimpses of her traumatic past with her father. And she works at a bar by the beach for a man named Long John, who is also her lover. She's missing time. And basically, we know, but she doesn't, that she is hunting down men from television and murdering them. First, two football players that she has a sadomasochistic threesome with and castrates, and then an aging commercial actor. And eventually it all unravels. Is that basically it?
That's basically it. I mean, a lot of these things are driven by psychosexual desires and fantasies, and it's hard to tell at first whether or not these are just the fantasies she's having or if she's committing these crimes in actual fact.
Right.
And then as soon as like the football players are reported dead and there's like police investigating it, you're like, yeah. The very opening scene is her like playing on the beach with her nephews, Tad and Tripoli, who like could be the names of the kids in White Lotus, let's be honest.
Or the two Christian kids from The Simpsons who live next door to this. Is
Rod and Todd Flanders.
Rod and Todd Flanders. They're very Rod and Todd Flanders-ish to me.
Who don't want no damn vegetables. Jesus.
Matt Cimber is like an exploitation, unsung hero of the exploitation era. And fun fact, he was one of the founders of Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. If you love that Netflix show as much as I do, the Mark Maron character is based on Matt
He
Cimber.
like directed every episode of the like the original 80s telecast of it, like,
which I watched as a child, as a little white trash child in the 80s. And so when that Netflix show came out, people were like, is this real? And I was like, oh boy, is it ever. I loved Glow as a little boy.
Matt Cimber's like life and career is fascinating, but it's all marked around kind of being an exploitation king. He first came to fame for having married Jayne Mansfield.
Oh, right.
He was the last man to be married to Jayne Mansfield. I mean, she died with her lover at the time, but he was still technically married to her.
Fascinating, because she became she was hanging out with Satanists at the end of her life and like all this crazy stuff. So she's totally fascinating in and of herself.
I love her. And he directed her. The first movie he directed starred her, called Single Room Furnished. Which was like going to be her starring in a drama for the first time. She died before it came out. So he then marketed it as like her last movie, come see it. And then weirdly he transitioned into the like early 70s burgeoning blaxploitation field with The Black Six and then Candy Tangerine Man and Lady Coco. And then he made The Witch Who Came from the Sea. Because apparently by 1976 blaxploitation was out and psychosexual horror films were in, I guess. And then he got hooked up with Pia Zadora.
Oh God.
And made two movies with Pia Zadora. He made Butterfly, which is a very notorious 80s film.
Yes.
With Pia Zadora and Orson Welles, and Fake Out. And then he got hooked up with an actress named Lauren Landon, who was in The Stuff and Maniac Cop and Drive.
Oh.
And he made two his most overt cheapo exploitation movies then, which were just knocking off more successful properties. Hundra, which was knocking off Sword and
Like
Sandal films that you mentioned, and then Yellow Hair and the Fortress of Gold, which is an Indiana Jones knockoff starring her.
I need to see those.
I feel like Yellow Hair and the Fortress of Gold might be fun, if not extremely racist.
Yeah.
As a lot of the Indiana Jones knockoff movies are. And then from there, he founded Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. So he's still alive, by the way.
Oh, is he? I hope he's listening. We love you. We love your movie.
Fascinating individual. He's like Herschel Gordon Lewis without the focus.
Yeah. So this movie starts with a bang.
Yeah.
I was actually at Muscle Beach yesterday taking photos, and I thought of this. It opens with Molly at Muscle Beach in Venice, which, first of all, Venice in the early 70s is so cool. I mean, it's still cool. Venice is a really cool place, but until very recently, it was very trashy and very poor, but also really beautiful because it's on the beach and has all these old Victorian bungalows, et cetera, and a boardwalk that's kind of dingy. It still has that element, but it just costs a fortune now. So just seeing Venice in the early 70s in and of itself is rad. It looks fantastic. It's a character, to use a cliche.
Very much like in the same realm as like Night Tide.
Yeah.
We talked about previously, which I feel like would also make a great double feature with this.
Double feature would be amazing. Yeah. Everything is nautical in this. You're at the beach a lot with the two nephews. You're at her bar, which is a dive bar that's nautical themed. Even Long John's apartment is nautical themed. Like it has like sailors knots everywhere for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Like...
Well, also her like S&M threesome is also very nautically focused, and there's a lot of like scatological dialogue that feels like it could or could not be her inventing this rather than it really happening, because she's obsessed with her father, who was a captain who sailed a ship and was lost at sea. And so there's a lot of like weird generational like obsession with this view of the ocean as this sort of like manifest destiny, like you can escape to your fortunes at the sea, which is like even for the 70s is fucking old school. That's like some Billy Budd stuff. That's like turn of the century Victorian shit.
Well, it also makes it clear that it's just entirely made up, because that's not a thing that existed in Venice in the 1960s, right?
Or even in like the 40s and 50s when she would have been like a child. That was World War II and like the prosperity period after. No one was like running off to like run a tramp steamer. So it has this like mythical fascination, which we then also get a little bit like Greek mythology later with
the title's referencing the birth of Venus, the famous painting. What I was gonna say though, what I meant to say was the opening is so good, which is just close-ups of men working out on Muscle Beach, and then close-ups of Molly kind of like licking her lips and getting
Kuleshov would have had a field day with the opening of this movie.
It's so good.
But then we start getting inserts of them like mangled and dead on the workout equipment, and then like animated blood.
Yeah,
which is my favorite part.
It's so good. We see this kind of thing about men all the time, like a movie like Psycho, honestly, or Peeping Tom, where a man just like gets so horny that it drives him insane, and so he has to kill for some reason. I think that this might be the only one about a woman that I've seen. I can't think of any others, but that's basically what happens because of her, of course, sexual trauma, which is not funny. But she just like gets too horny and she kills.
Yeah, she very like from the jump there is like a thick connection between sexual desire, death, and violence, which, you know, might take her a minute to sort out.
And we do, in pieces throughout the movie, get flashbacks of her sexual trauma involving her father, which is actually really horrific, and the reveal of what happened is horrifying.
Yeah.
Genuinely. So this movie, while it does have some campy elements, it's for real too. I mean, it's gross and gritty, and has a very downbeat, sad ending.
It's very easy.
Won't spoil.
Oh my god, I know the ending is
brutal.
It has a very much a like late 70s like freeze frame and then credits roll ending, which by the way, underrated. We should be bringing that back. Why doesn't Honora end with a freeze frame and the credits roll over? Exactly. That's my note, Sean Baker.
With like really sad flute music.
That would have worked for Honora.
Or Spanish guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have worked so well.
It would have, yeah.
So it's easy for a modern audience to like look at this movie and be like, oh, it's old, it's cheap, it's weird. Some of the acting is stilted, some of the dialogue is funky. And okay, this is just a campy thing to laugh at. Millie Perkins is one of the most celebrated and underrated actresses of that generation. Again, she made her big screen debut in 1959 in George Stevens' The Diary of Anne Frank as Anne Frank. And then she went on in the 60s to do like Elvis movies and exploitation movies, but is most well known in that period for doing a series of movies with Monty Hellman, the director of Two-Lane Blacktop. She did 2 westerns with him and Jack Nicholson, The Shooting and Ride in the Whirlwind. Mm-hmm. And also the extremely underrated and underseen movie that I know Kayla Janice also loves, Cockfighter with Warren Oates. Is
that the Roger Corman movie?
Yeah, Roger Corman produced Cockfighter.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I think Roger Corman also produced the two Monty Hellman westerns as well.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in Corman's Wild Those Streets. Like, she's an incredible actress, and she does not get enough respect. And her performance in this is very like kooky and odd, but it's also like, if we in 2025 can celebrate Shelley Duvall's performance in Three Women, we can talk about Millie Perkins in The Witch Who Came from the Sea, because they're very similarly modulated, not just because there's a Molly Millie name connection there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a character who's obsessed with television, who lives in a complete fantasy world of her own creation, who's a severe alcoholic. I mean, she's drunk most of the movie. So she's an unreliable main character. Her mental health is deteriorating quickly throughout the movie. So she brings a lot of subtlety to this, and a lot of depth, I think. I mean, it's not a big performance. All of those things said, it's a pretty quiet, small performance. It's not a campy performance, right? She's not like chewing scenery. I think she's extraordinary in this.
Yeah, I think her performance is incredible. And I also, something that I noticed immediately as soon as the movie started, and then I was like, that's an odd choice, is the perm they gave her.
Yeah.
And then I was like, she looks weird in this. Why? Who's giving her a perm? And then I realized, they are like minimal makeup, giving her a perm, doing everything they can to make who is objectively one of the most beautiful actresses of that era look as like dowdy as possible.
Yeah.
She's got to look like a frumpy alcoholic that lives with her sister.
Yeah, and she's like a bit of a hippie too, so they put her on a lot of like big denim dungarees that have like patches from quilts on them and stuff. So it's a little bit like, well, which is how she gets caught eventually.
Because her sister's job is like sewing lace and patches onto like denim jeans and shirts and stuff for celebrities or pseudo celebrities that come through that part of Venice. And she literally in the threesome scene is wearing a pair of blue jeans with like a piece of lace sewn onto the ass of them. And Ivory was like coming in and out because she's like been working lately, and she came in for that scene, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, isn't that a great idea? Isn't that fucking awesome? Like a piece of lace sewn to a denim like butt of jeans feels like something Ivory would do. So like it the like 60s like 70s like hippie chic of I'm just gonna put some random color patches on my blue bell-bottom blue jeans, I think is fuck ugly. But when you do with like, oh, here's like a white piece of white lace here and there in very intentional spots, that's actually cool.
It could be, yeah. I love the two sisters in this. I love like the working class Venice setting. The sisters always like sewing or ironing, and it kind of reminds me of Divine and Hairspray, who's always ironing. Or it reminds me of like Stella and Blanche from Streetcar. Like one of them's really down to earth and practical and pragmatic minded, and the other one's just like totally living in a fantasy. I thought of Blanche Dubois a lot.
There's a lot of Blanche Dubois in this character. I was about to say, because it also got me thinking about Streetcar, and it got me thinking about how Streetcar was remade with Cate Blanchett by Woody Allen a few years ago.
What? Excuse me?
It's called Blue
real?
Jasmine.
Oh, I saw that, I think.
Cate Blanchett won an Oscar for it.
Right. Maybe I didn't see that. I can't remember a moment of that.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin was in it. Like, also fucking, who was that awful, like, douchey Italian comedian from the 80s? That was Andrew Dice Clay was in it.
Andrew Dice Clay.
That was like Andrew Dice Clay's big comeback was in
boy.
Woody Allen's remake. Yeah.
Oh my
but
God.
I was thinking about that and about how that got like a modern remake that like washed its source and its like marketing and stuff. And I was thinking that like if you remade The Witch Who Came from the Sea as like a quote unquote straight drama, with like a contemporary lens and stuff like that, with like Andrea Riseborough, and just called it like Sailor's Daughter or Millie or something like that, like A24 would put it out and like, or Focus, and it would be like an Oscar contender.
Well, it might deserve it too. You know, it might be very good. Like, imagine the cinematography of Moonlight. You know, like that sort of naturalistic 35 millimeter such cinematography. That would be cool.
And if you're just like mostly focusing on the story of like an abused alcoholic woman who's like trying to get her shit together, and then maybe she murdered some guys. Yeah, I think a contemporary audience would have so much like would do better with the story. It wouldn't be seen as exploitation, but also because of the dated qualities of this movie, which I love and which I think make this movie so much more appealing.
Totally.
I love all that stuff, but I feel like you could distill this movie down into something and then retitle it and repackage it and then like put a tiny credit on it that's like based on the screenplay by like.
Yeah. When I wanted to redo The Eyes of Laura Mars and Sony didn't want to give me the rights, my managers were like, honestly, that's not a big movie. Just write your own version. Just rip it off and no one will ever know.
Yeah. And honestly, you could write your own version of The Witch Who Came from the Sea, because again, The Witch Who Came from the Sea is already ripping off a couple other things. So
it's true. It's true. What do you think about this as a feminist movie? Meaning, like, is this a feminist movie?
I mean,
or is it regressive?
To the point of like what we were saying earlier about like female sexual identity and representation. There is so much more of that these days, and there is so much more of that buried in exploitation movies from the 60s through the 80s. And it is like great that to a degree that, you know, we get to see female sexual desire from a female lens. But also it is made by a just flat out exploitation filmmaker. So the subtleties aren't there.
Right.
And it is filled with every single man at some point is like, that crazy bitch. My girlfriend's a crazy bitch. Even if they're not talking about her, they're talking about a different woman in the movie. Because there is a different woman in the movie that shows up and like fucking shoots at a guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do think the movie is ultimately sympathetic to Molly's character. It is so confusing that the actress's name is Millie and the character's name is Molly. Like, what the fuck? I think the movie is ultimately sympathetic to her. And I think the end is very heartbreaking. And honestly, the movie has very kind of not explicitly conventional, but for the time conventional, like drive-in aesthetics and like pacing, and like there's cops following a thing, and bodies are piling up, and there's like, you know, slightly psychedelic flashbacks and like little audio distortions to like cue you into like things are being different and stuff like that. By the time she wakes up in bed next to Long John covered in blood, it totally changes. The rest of the movie is so much more grounded and is literally her and her friends and her nephew sitting with her, like trying to take care of her. At no point does any of the people in her orbit try to give her up to the cops. There's no big standoff. We never see the cops again.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it becomes entirely about Millie Perkins' performance and about that character's emotional state at that point, and her friends trying to understand her and take care of her. And that's the whole back half of the movie. And I think for all of that reason, I think this movie is explicitly sympathetic to her and her character. And yeah, feminist. It can be like, you know, it's feminist to murder men. Go ahead, do it.
I mean, if people, that is like how people feel, right? Like Jennifer's Body is a feminist movie, and it is, of course. I don't know if I think this is as feminist or not. I mean, it doesn't ultimately really matter. And I think the intention of something might not match what it is or what it becomes over time.
100%.
So there's that too. I don't know if Matt Cimber is interested in feminism as much as he is in making a buck, because he's like an exploitation filmmaker.
Yeah.
But I think he's just thinks he's going to get butts in seats, right? But it could be, time could interpret it as a feminist movie, which I think you've made a really interesting case for.
I think it is, at least from the perspective of Millie Perkins as an actress and as playing this character.
Well, she also elevates it so much because she's so good. If that were a lesser actress, it might be a different thing.
Yeah, she gives an incredible performance. And it, like, literally, I looked up Matt Cimber's background while watching this movie because I'm like, how did he get Millie Perkins for this? Like, what the fuck? And then finding out that, like, oh, he was married to Jayne Mansfield, and like, okay, he has industry connections enough to be able to get, you know, a classic Hollywood actress who that by that point was doing the more highbrow Corman stuff. So yeah, that all tracks and all makes sense. But like, fucking lucky as all hell to get that.
You know, there's a really great Roger Corman quote about the cockfighter, which is like, I always wondered why no one made a movie about cockfighting, and then I made one and I learned it was because no one wanted to see a movie about cockfighting. It's very Roger Corman-y.
I love him so much.
I know. R.I.P.
He's so goddamn funny. What a goddamn saint. The other movie I was thinking about a lot through Which You Came From the Sea, and this is like the absolute other end of the art house scale, but was also like a very independently made film, also about a woman going through a mental health crisis, that is like left to take care of children, also about a woman that's an alcoholic, that's like grounded by an incredible lead female performance, and was an independent production that at the time came and went and made like no money. A Woman Under the Influence, the John Cassavetes movie, with Jenna Rollins, came out around the same time. Let me check. Okay, A Woman Under the Influence came out 2 years before this.
Yeah.
So I think there is also a possibility that Matt Cimber saw A Woman Under the Influence and was like, she should murder someone. I could do that. And like, her performance in that movie is so goddamn amazing. But on top of that, like, they both have like really scrappy lo-fi vibes. They're both shot in LA. They're both clearly just like walking handheld cameras out into the streets to follow like this woman giving this performance. And this does have this is the trashier version of it. It's got like, you know, lewd sex scenes, and it's got, you know, animated blood and like her like trying to, and it's got a guy named Jack Dracula.
Jack Dracula is so rad. He's so rad.
These movies could
I had to look him up because I was like,
universe.
is Jack Dracula the guy from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls at the party?
That
But I
guy's
don't
too
think
old.
he is.
The guy at the
Yeah.
party that you're thinking of. The Jack Dracula is played by an actor named Stan Ross. No, he wasn't Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Oh my god.
Yeah. He's with the redheaded lady at the party, and I looked him up, and he was like Phil Spector's right-hand man. He was like a music guy.
Oh god.
Isn't that crazy? He like helped invent the wall of sound.
Holy shit. Apparently he
really
was
interesting guy.
also in Vice Squad and What's Up, Doc.
Yeah. Quirky guy.
That's insane. Yeah, he's the like hippie or like he's like in like white cloth robes in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls and is always like sticking his tongue out and stuff.
Yeah, there's like two old people at all the Hollywood parties randomly. It's like him and a woman with a red beehive.
Yeah, the big wig.
And yeah, so they're always together, and that movie's fantastic.
It's the greatest film of all time, let's be honest.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, I would love to pair The Witch Who Came from the Sea with A Woman of the Influence. And I like, again, that's a movie that now contemporary audiences love.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that does like a Criterion Closet video that doesn't pull out a John Cassavetes title or like box set. Like people are obsessed with him. Contemporary actors especially find so much in those performances. And there can be a slightly genre tinged cousin to that. Like,
speaking of Criterion Closet videos, did you see the Carrie Coon one where she got out there? She's like, I already have all of these.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
how I feel.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. And I do have an invitation to go there next time I'm in New York, which needs to happen. But yeah, I literally was cataloging some of the stuff on my shelf recently, and I have like 400 Criterion DVDs.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I might have too many. Is that such a thing?
Well,
we'll see. But like, yeah, well, because she's also married to Tracy Letts,
that's why she has
playwright
she
and actor,
says that later on. Yeah.
who is a massive film collector and film buff. And yeah, so it's literally, it's because Tracy Letts owns them all.
Yeah. Let's pivot and play our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I want to know, I think this person is making a remake of Wuthering Heights. This is a filmmaker that we both feel really mixed on in different ways. Do you think Emerald Fennell has seen The Witch Who Came from the Sea?
She is remaking Wuthering Heights, or supposedly remaking Wuthering Heights with Jacob Elordi.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need that.
I don't want that.
We don't need it. We don't need it. This does feel like the kind of movie that, you know, post Promising Young Woman and The Love Witch that Cinefamily would have programmed.
Yeah.
At that time, like Cinefamily would have paired this and The Love Witch together. And you know what two directors I strongly dislike? Those two ladies.
Yeah.
One is overrated and one is overrated and a misogynistic turf.
I love that we both hate The Love Witch so much.
A movie we will never cover ever on this podcast.
Looks
Fuck that
gorgeous.
bitch.
I mean, she'd make a great production designer. She should have done that.
If she wasn't a monster to work with.
Yeah.
Well, she is her own production designer because no one will work with her.
Well, she's good at that. She just does.
And she hasn't made a film since. She's been working on making a Bluebeard adaptation since 2018.
Yeah.
And it's 2025 and she's nowhere near done with it. And I don't think anyone wants it.
Emerald
Fennell, though. Sorry. I don't think Emerald Fennell has seen this. I feel like people brought this up to her after Portrait of a Lady on not Portrait of a Lady, oh my god. Promising Young Woman came out,
Yeah.
I feel like people mentioned this to her, and she probably was like, "Wow, awesome, thanks,"
And then didn't watch it.
and didn't watch it. I highly doubt she has seen this movie.
I think that's such an interesting observation. I bet if you, let's say that Greta Gerwig had made Promising Young Woman instead. If someone had said it to her at a screening, like, oh, it reminded me of The Witch Who Came from the Sea, I bet Greta Gerwig would have gone home and immediately watched The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Agreed. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she absolutely would have. Emerald Fennell, I think she's too, this is gonna sound so like stupid, but she's too Tumblr coded. Like everything she does feels like adapting a Tumblr post into a movie.
I completely understand
with that level of like intellect and like depth,
shallowness,
and like I like this her second one,
Saltburn.
I like Saltburn. I thought it was fun. It's brainless, but it's fun. And you know what? It's shot in 1:3:3 for no reason. But whatever, it's fun. The cast is really good. Richard E. Grant, I love to see him show up. Like, it's stupid, but it's fun. Promising Young Woman is stupid while thinking it's profound, and that's dangerous and annoying. I think The Witch Who Came from the Sea is more of a feminist movie than Promising Young Woman.
I think a lot of people would agree with you if they'd seen both of these movies. I have been on record as a Promising Young Woman apologist. I also thought Saltburn, with some distance, I can recognize that it's a fun movie. My beef with it when it came out was that people were treating it like it was like a good movie, and it's objectively not.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're a no on Emerald Fennell and The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
I don't think she's seen it. I will say, again, my like knowledge of Millie Perkins prior to this mostly comes from those Monty Hellman movies. I love them so much. I think the shooting is such a great underrated like acid western. I adore Harry Dean Stanton and I adore Warren Oates, and they're incredible in those movies. But the big sell on those movies since they came out to this very day has always been their lead actor, Jack Nicholson. Do you think Jack Nicholson has seen The Witch Who Came from the Sea?
Yeah, I do. Jack Nicholson was very hip and very young in the 1970s. I think he was friendly with Millie Perkins. I think they're both part of like a youngish, coolish Hollywood, you know, like they're hanging out with Joan Didion and people like that. I think they're of the same milieu. So I think he would have seen like an early screening.
Do you think he had Joan Didion and Roman Polanski over to a party to watch The Witch Who Came from the Sea at his house?
I don't know if they were watching many movies at those parties.
I think it was just drugs. Yeah.
It was really drugs and sex of various sorts. Yeah. And I don't know that Jack Nicholson would like this movie. I just think that he's seen it.
Yeah. I feel like there's a version of him that could like this movie.
Me
Again,
too.
he was like best buds with Dennis Hopper. Again, Dennis Hopper did Night Tide. I don't know what Dennis Hopper thought of Night Tide, to be fair. But
I think Dennis Hopper would like this movie, though. He has very dark sensibility.
Yeah, I think he would like this. I think both Dennis Hopper and Jack Nicholson would both really like Messiah of Evil.
Yes.
And also Jack Nicholson's best friend for almost his entire life is Harry Dean Stanton. I can see Harry Dean Stanton loving this movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton, star of Pretty in Pink.
Yeah, he is the dad in Pretty in Pink.
He's great in Pretty in Pink.
I love Harry Dean Stanton.
That was my introduction to him.
Mine was Repo Man, but
that came a little later for me. All right, so I guess I'm just thinking of British millennials because the next person is actor Daniel Radcliffe, who is very sophisticated and smart and cool, actually.
Yeah, he's come a long way from that bad thing that made him a lot of money. I feel like this is a bit of a deep cut. So I feel like you're gonna have to have a little bit of a cinephile cred to have bought the box set it was in, B, have the Arrow streaming service, which is how I watched it, or go see it at a rep theater. I'm sure the Prince Charles showed it in the UK around the same time that it played at the Egyptian. I'm gonna say no. I feel like this
I think
probably
no
wouldn't
too.
be on his radar. I'm sure there's other 70s horror films that are, I mean, again, like he did that Hammer movie of the Lady in Black, Woman in Black, or whatever, which was fine, which was fun.
Pretty
I saw
good.
it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
And I feel like if you asked him about 70s horror movies and 60s and 70s horror movies like this that he loves, I'm sure he could name Repulsion. I'm sure he'd be a big fan of Peeping Tom. I feel like this one might be a little too buried.
I think you're probably right.
For his tastes.
That's no knock on him. It's just...
This is a hard movie to find. And it's also not well known, even by a little bit. This is like only really known in exploitation circles. Like...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
AKA people who listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned this other person, who's also a British millennial earlier in the episode, but who we do know is a big cinephile. This person is like having such a moment right now, super, super famous, is starting a production company, and famously like is a big fan of David Cronenberg and Fassbinder and a lot of like great queer filmmakers and stuff like that, and is a fan of those John Cassavetes movies and stuff like that, and has a Letterboxd account. Do you think Charlie XCX has seen The Witch Who Came from the Sea?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because again, it is obscure, but she is very well watched. I think she would love it if she has seen it. I think, but my gut says no, just because it's such a weird one. You know what I mean? I think she might even have seen Messiah of Evil or Let's Scare Jessica to Death. This is like a level even beneath that, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, possibly. I feel like she's seen it. I feel like this is one she watched on a tour bus, like in Australia or something like that.
Yeah, on her laptop when everyone else is sleeping.
Because also, like, it's, I think, kind of been public domain for a while, so it was, like, trolling around YouTube and shitty prints for a long time. I feel like at some point she's come across it. And also, like, I feel like she's the kind of person who would see that poster and be like, I want to watch whatever that is. She should do an album cover recreating this poster.
I mean, anyone should. It's so good. It almost feels like, you know, who could have had an album cover like this and probably did is Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics. Like, that's the energy. If that sword were a chainsaw, it would be very Wendy O. Williams.
I mean, it could also be a Dio album cover.
True.
But it's just, it's a hot lady. Like,
it's just a hot lady.
Hot lady kill men. Oh, yeah. If Wendy O. Williams was more like late 70s, like, that kind of era, so many people nowadays are recreating stuff like this as like slick photo shoots. Yeah. That like I could see Charlie XCX doing something like this and putting out an album called Siren or something like that. Like, yeah. Well, which is the accompanying film score to the remake of this movie. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bloodhaus. Please rate it 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhausepod@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram. Drusilla, where can people see you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhidedesign.com. I've got new stuff up there for the Amazon TV show, The Samurai Turned Pretty, and for the new lesbian glitter pop film, Queens of Drama, coming out from Alternate Innocence in April, which I cannot recommend highly enough. It's so fucking good. Patouche is going to be stuck in your head for months after. It is so good. The original music is incredible. It is one of the best contemporary queer films you can possibly go see. Highly recommend it. So proud to have gotten to do the poster. It's over on my site right now. You can go check out. There'll be a bunch of more stuff coming very soon, so keep a tab on that. You can also follow me on Letterboxd at Drusilla Adeline or Sister Hyde, and you can follow me on Instagram at Sister Hyde. What about you, Josh? How can people follow you from their TV screens?
I am at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram. I think those are the ones for now. Next week, we're watching a classic, a banger. We both love it. What are we watching?
We are going back to Italy. We are donning our black leather gloves for the umpteenth time, but in some ways for the first time, with the very first, to a large extent, Primo Giallo, Mario Bava's Blood and Black Lace.
Can't wait. See ya.
Bye.